This is Hacking the Afterlife podcast with Jennifer Schaefer.
Jennifer!
Richard, I'm back.
Yes, we've missed you, my dear. Where were you? You went to Montana. How was that?
It was amazing. We had a wedding in Bozeman, and then we went to Big Sky. We went to Yosemite.
Wow, you went to Yosemite. Did you, by the way?
And then we stayed in Jackson Hole and climbed Jackson Hole.
Wow, how fabulous. You didn't create any sparks there, did you? Because apparently the Yellowstone's on fire now.
No, I did not.
Listen, we love trees.
I have no idea what, I don't watch the news, so I don't know.
It's as soon as you left, I saw that, Yosemite has, anyway, I hope.
Actually, there were some fires going on there at the time, but we didn't see any. We might have just escaped it before.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I had a very unusual chat the other day with a friend of mine who lives up in Washington. And I mean, she's not a medium, but every now and then she has access to a mutual friend on the flip side. And she said, I'm getting a message from her, our mutual friend, Melinda.
Okay.
Sorry? Her name is Melinda. I wasn't planning on talking to her, but I might as well. Here we are.
Okay.
Melinda, do you want to come forward and talk to us?
Trying to get hold on one second. It's because I have it upside down. Trying to get my Apple Pencil to my iPad.
Yes.
All right, hold on. And what you said her name is what? Melinda?
Melinda. And by the way, Luana, if you have other people that we need to speak to, that's fine.
It says there's like 3. And she says two of them recently passed, I think. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to really quickly, Luana, can I ask Melinda a really quick question? Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm just letting you know the lead singer of Coldplay just showed up. I know he's not dead. I get that.
Chris Martin. Okay.
So something might be pertaining to Chris Martin, and I know I used to always associate Steve Jobs with Chris Martin because of what he did at his funeral.
I always associate him with my kid's preschool because his child went to preschool with my kids. And
Apple?
And we used to see Apple around. Sometimes he was there. I never got a chance to talk to him. And then he's friends with Dr. Sadeghi, a good pal of mine. Well, Luana, who needs to talk to us first? I mean, I talk
to Melinda.
All right. So can Melinda just step in for a second? Melinda, what was up with this conversation that you had through our mutual friend, Patrice? That's the question. Patrice is on the planet. Melinda's not.
I'm just seeing, she's just showing me land. So maybe about what we were talking about with what's happening. I don't know if I've seen this before. I don't know. I feel like she was giving her heads up about something.
Exactly right. I can't even say that. Exactly right. So she was giving her, it felt like a warning to Patrice. Was it a warning, Melinda? That's the question. And it had to do with nature. And it had to do with stuff that she was showing her.
Was there anything? Okay, I'm getting flooding. So is there
flooding? Yes, there was a flooding was involved.
Did we ever discuss this?
No, we haven't discussed this at all. She was, and my friend Patrice said she's talking about a tsunami. Okay, and me, I'm not about
right.
Those kinds of fear-based.
It just has to do with global warming because I'm seeing things pop up.
Okay, that's exactly what fires, et cetera, and that's.
She showed me the reef. Like I've mentioned this probably in the last couple of podcasts. After going to Bonaire, seeing all the reef dying,
Yeah.
Boy, have I been immersed in nature recently.
So let me clarify, because Patrice said that she heard Melinda saying to her, listen. Now, I just wanted to know, did you repeat the word listen because she wasn't hearing you? Or were you repeating it because you thought it was so important to emphasize?
listen to what's happening to the planet. And she's showing me your heart. Like, so if you feel like, and then she's showing me how I felt when I went into the water, like seeing all the like it was beautiful white, but that means it was dead, right? All the sand that was everywhere, and how, you know, what's happening to the planet. Just give me a second. Your heart connects to Gaia. Your heart connects to the planet. And so if you feel like something's off, or you feel like something is not right, like I did when I went in the water, times that by like 100,000 of like.
So let me clarify, because I asked Patrice to ask you, is this something that we have to worry about right away or sometime in the future? And she got like 4 years into the future, but I don't know if it was a specific event where Patrice is living, you know, almost like a tsunami happening after an earthquake or a fire or what. Or what is she?
Does Patrice live up north?
Yeah, she does.
Every year there's fires and like every year there's things going on. But she said, I just feel it getting worse. Like it's gonna get worse. Like they're gonna happen close together. So the fires and then the slides. You know,
okay, I see. Oh yeah, and the slides which cause tsunamis. You know, icebergs falling off into the ocean. Earthquakes can cause the same thing.
We should have been learning about this the last 100 years.
Yeah, and of course. Now, Melinda, do you want to say anything to your friends and pals like me? I'm your pal.
She says she says you guys have chats in your dream state. She showed me like you on a chair having a chat with her. And then she gave you a big hug. She gave you
very sweet,
big giant hug. And she says that, settle down, everything's going to be okay. She loves your work, what you're doing. She said somebody's got to do it. Was she a skeptic at one point?
Well, I got to say, I knew Melinda in Rome when we went to college there together. And unfortunately, she passed a couple of years after we went to school together. And we were close friends in San Francisco.
She's very artsy. She feels very artsy, or like something with art.
Very, very creative and a great lover of trees. I've heard her talk about trees, about hugging trees and connecting to trees. From the flip side.
She says that's what you should be listening to.
Nature, or specifically.
And hold on. And do you have something of hers, like a coin, or do you have like something of hers?
It's very possible. It's very possible. We were very close pals, and
do you ever play chess with her? Or did you ever play games?
Well, that might be something that we do on the flip side. I don't know. Playing chess, that sounds hilarious. I do chess, but I don't remember playing it with her.
It might not be her. It could be somebody else is coming through. Because like I feel like I'm talking to her, but then somebody else could be showing me like playing. Oh, hold on. Who did you play chess with that passed away? Was it who had you on TV? Sorry.
Oh, you mean Charles Grodin or Merv or something like that? It's funny. Chess, of course, and I was a big chess fan. Chess has such a metaphor for so many different things, how the pieces fit.
I know. His chess game, though, feels like it's with music.
All right. So let's table this for a second. Melinda, thank you so much for clarifying that, because it came through and Patrice was freaking out. Do I have to move out of Seattle? And Luana, thank you for bringing Melinda forward, who passed away, I think, 1978.
Hey, I feel like Melinda will move anyway. There's something about that.
Oh, Patrice won't move anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I think she moved up there to get away from what she thought was, climate change, and it's following her. But Luana, you do have people, and I know I only have Jennifer for a short time today. So Lou, who wants to talk to us? That's all right. We appreciate it.
Okay, show me the number 3. And then I got shown the Trinity. Hold on.
Trinity. Oh, she may mean there's 3 people.
Yeah.
So start with number 1, Lou. Is it a guy or a girl? Put him in the chair.
she showed me Elvis, but it's not. It's she showed me the movie again for some reason. And she's showing me the ending. Mind you, I have not seen it. I haven't seen the movie yet. It's on my list.
It's allowed. It's allowed. Oh, all right. So let's just clarify. Lou, is Elvis the first person you want us to chat with?
About Elvis.
About Elvis. All right. So let's talk about this. Elvis, I've just recently come to the awareness that he was a guy who was into or read about the flip side, who was focused on reincarnation. I didn't know this about him, but somebody showed me some books, and that he had a passionate, and Priscilla has mentioned this, that he had a like a guru. I can't remember the name of the guru, but there was somebody is that what he wants to talk about?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It is. And so what was it? So
the reason why I can understand now, I was being shown Elvis, but it was also the person that was in the movie. That was the one that I was shown, not the one that's over there. And so like a past life situation actually is kind of interesting. It's kind of showing something like that. He was always fascinated by it because he knew some of his songs came from, but of course he was not writing them, he was singing them. But you can imagine that maybe he had a connection to as a singer. Had you ever sung in a previous lifetime, Elvis? Let's just ask you that. Yeah.
That was an unusual reaction.
Well, the reason why is because I got shown Beethoven, excuse me. I got
like a classical era. Let's start with that. Classical era, a singer. Yeah. A singer or a composer?
Singer, but he feels more female-like.
Okay, that's allowed. And so opera? Are we talking opera and coloratura and
opera is what I received.
Okay, and so opera, and what century are we talking about? Are we talking about Beethoven time, like 18th century? Or 17th century, 18th century, 19th century?
1782 or around that time, like.
All right, and let's just focus in on a part of Europe. I'm going to guess it was in Europe. Is that's the question? And if so, where in Europe? Or
so I don't know if it's Belgium. I'm like
that is a country in here. Yeah. Yes, Brussels, Belgium.
Belgium.
And royalty, were you singing for big audiences or like privately, or were you sort of famous in your own right? That's the question.
Famous in his own right.
Okay. In her own right. Very good. And,
yeah. I felt like she entertained the court.
And if you could, can you recall the first name of this singer? Begins with the letter what?
Feels like a C, like Corinne or Corian, something like that.
Corinne or Karina or something. Okay, a C. And, those are things you can look up. Belgian singer,
Corrine, something like.
Yeah, Corrine, Corinne. And what's your last name, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, what was the name that they knew you by? Begins with the letter.
It almost feels like Erschnick or like ELCH, something, I don't know. TIC, Erschnick.
Elschnick? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it's the idea of looking this stuff up. Sometimes it really happens where you and I discuss a name and then I look it up and it's like, there's the name.
Yeah.
Which is mind bending. And it might be related to that. So, but the point.
Oh, and everybody that has tuning in for the first time, there we go.
Luana, Melinda.
It's what I'm looking at.
And Corinne. So why did you want to come forward and talk about that, Elvis? Just to talk about.
I just got shown how everybody's feeling everything right now from every different, it's like one big empath walking along the earth right now.
So like the veil is disappearing and more people are feeling and connecting, correct?
Correct. And so a lot of times your reactions to certain situations might not be from here, they might be from the past.
So like if you were somebody who used to perform and then you get nervous when you're approaching a stage, that might apply to your journey at work or something where you're afraid to get up and speak in front of people.
Right.
And
right.
so are you saying that that's something to examine, or are you saying we should examine this kind of research into the flip side?
Just ask about it, or go have a past life regression, or they're getting me like, go meet your counsel with you.
Go have a counsel talk. Yeah. No,
like go like
start the Audible version of the counsel book. So soon to be out there in the world.
Really?
Everybody, how they can talk to their counsel. They don't need me. They could.
Yes, but you and I both do that. But sometimes it is yes, they do. It's a great benefit to talk to you. You help me so much with my dad, with like you being the non-medium, but that's not true. You get visited all the time.
I'm the nudge medium. Let's put it that way. I'm the guy who just loves to ask questions. I'm relentless. All right, Lou, back to you, my dear. And Elvis, you're always welcome. And if you have more to add, please do. Lou, you got two more people that you want us to pull in here. Who do you want? And they don't have to be famous. Obviously, they can be anybody. But Lou, who's second up?
Okay, I wouldn't know this person. I feel like he just passed away. Oh. Have we talked to the guy the Godfather, who was in the Godfather?
Marlon Brando?
No, the other James.
James Caan.
James Caan.
Oh, okay. No, and our podcast 2 weeks ago, he had just passed away. And I know we invited him, and we also agreed that it was too early because it was literally that morning. So does James want to speak?
Yeah, he just raised his hand. That's pretty funny. Yes.
It is pretty funny. So James, just to clarify, who was there to greet you when you crossed over? If you don't mind me asking, this is the process. I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody. So
my mother, father, kid, like he's just showing me
family.
Huge family. The Godfather times, the huge family times like 20. He says it was endless amounts of people that loved me, past, present, and future.
And how did you find Luana and this venue to converse with us? How did that happen?
The first guy you mentioned, from what's his name?
From Marlon Brando. Okay, so seeing Marlon. And so how did that, if you don't mind, the conversation that you guys had, was Marlon saying, hey, check this out? You might check this out. You can have a conversation?
It's so funny. Can I tell you this? Maybe you have to not say it on air though. He showed me a triangle between James Caan, Jack Nicholson, and Marlon Brando. So
the three of them, well, look, your higher self is up there. So
I know. They were trying to get Jack to come up too, but it's just funny that they said that.
Well, so there you go. And so, James, I know that Jennifer doesn't know your connection to Luana or how Luana
But is that the connection with Marlon Brando?
That's correct. No, Luana's voice appears in The Godfather. She plays the nurse, the voice of the nurse who moves Marlon Brando out of the hospital. And that's because Francis Coppola directed her in his first film, Dementia 13. So she was one of the stars of that film. So she was close to Francis, close enough that he called her up and said, even though he didn't have her play the nurse, he had her come in and revoice the nurse. So she's in 3 or 4 scenes. So that's the connection between James and Luana, which is Francis. So James, what was it like what's it like for you? What's your impression of what we're doing? Are you seeing us?
He bent a spoon, mind bending. He says he laughs when you say it's mind bending. He always felt it, and he said the couple days before he passed, he really felt it. He really felt the other side.
Uh-huh.
He said actually for the last couple of months, he knew he was going to pass. Like he knew he was going to pass. I'm sorry, I don't even know what he passed from.
I'm pretty sure it was the big C.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It was myocardial infarction, heart attack, heart issues. And so knowing that you were going to cross over, and what was the first impression that you got that there was something going on? Or was it something you always believed in? There would be something more.
He says, I never thought it could be this spectacular with colors and sounds and voices. And he's just like appreciating art is just a whole different level. It was a child's play down here, it was absolutely the most amazing presence, like a gift that just fell on me when I landed there, of love. Like sparkles and just he's taking me through it. Sorry, I closed.
That's okay. I know, and it's great to hear because people want to know, what's it like? And so you're describing a beautiful, wonderful sensation of reconnecting to however that plays out. But
yeah, and I asked him, did you have fear? And he said, no, the opposite. And he showed me, like, the second you step into that realm, he goes, you know everything all at once, but you don't. Then it's like taking time and then making it go like this to dive into it, but
expanding time.
Yeah. You get the essence of your life, your purpose, your loves. He's like, that's the crazy part. He's like, there's no wrong love.
Beautiful.
I wasted so much time in my head thinking that I did some things, I probably shouldn't have done. But when you get over here, you're reminded that you charted that for growth on Earth.
Wow. You charted that for growth on Earth. So do you feel like you completed what you had set out to do, James? Was this kind of the journey that you had in mind, or was it much? Because you really changed a lot of people's lives. You affected a lot of people.
He said he got 5 stars.
He got 5 stars. Did you get a standing ovation when you got home?
He said, my family came first. And he said, then what?
I love it when Jennifer censors herself. She's hearing it and she's like, what? What?
And then I walked over to the talk show with Jimi Hendrix.
Oh my God, that's great. So what a funny thing. So let's clarify. Are you referencing something you heard about that Jennifer and I had a conversation when Charles Grodin walked onto the flip side? He was on a talk show and Jimi Hendrix was hosting. I mean, is that something you are aware of because they told you about it, or is that something that happened?
No, that's something that happened to him.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And so who was in the audience? So you're talking to Jimmy, and this Charles Grodin mentioned the same thing. And Chuck, who had been on the Tonight Show.
This is so interesting. He's like, this is your life review. You go over, you sit with Jimi Hendrix, and you get your life review. They ask you.
Wow.
Kind of like, and they play on a big screen, like everything you've done. And the more adventurous and the more colors and the more drama. He's like, he's like, yeah, I got a standing ovation for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Time doesn't exist, so I can exaggerate and make it longer.
So was there anyone you were surprised to see in the audience or surprised to see other than Jimmy? I mean, that must have been a little bit odd.
He says, I was surprised to see every actor, every worker on the sets, every script writer, everybody I've ever worked with was there. That is
wow.
Yeah. And then he said, There's something with his mom.
What about, yeah, what would you like to say to members of your family on behalf of your mom? What's that?
You didn't see her right away.
And why was that?
Show me again. Hold on. Wow, it's just so interesting because he's trying to show me something, how she's more inside of him than outside of him. You know, like she was there the whole time, but it wasn't somebody that was separate from him.
Oh, that's interesting. So it was almost like they were almost two people at the same time, something like that. So close that you're not even aware that she's not apart from you until you realize, where's mom?
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating.
I learned so much from her, he says. I learned so much from her.
And what would
it was like we were one over there. Like
what would be something that you could tell your I don't know of your family members, but what would be something you would?
I'm not in pain.
I'm sorry?
I'm not in pain.
You're not in pain.
There was nothing they could have done. I knew something like this was going to happen. Because I technically said all my goodbyes.
And is there, so that would be something, because that was my question. What would be something that you could tell them that only they would know? And the fact that you said your goodbyes, they would know that. You see, we wouldn't know that. We have no way of knowing that. But that would be something that they directly would know, that you did say goodbye to them on some level.
He was so lucky to have had the time that he had with them before he passed.
Well, James, I'm not going to bum rush you. You're always welcome here. But Luana, you had one more person, and I know we're kind of bumping up on out of time. Is this somebody else that you wanted to pull forward?
Luana.
Luana herself. Okay. And go ahead. What did you want to talk about?
Oh. She's saying thank you to the both of us, but she's watching over your daughter. She's showing me like watching over her and having a splendid time with her. And she's doing all of our favorite spots, she says.
That's so cool.
And did she take some of Luana with her? Did she?
I think that's the same thing James is talking about, which is, you know, when you're part of somebody.
Yeah.
Always with them. Because she just sent me a picture of dinner she had with Luana, which is my cousin's daughter. Her name is Luana. He met Luana and he named his daughter after her. And she's got a baby on the way. And so there was Luana and Olivia Luana in the same room that we were all there together, 30 years ago.
She was there. She is
so
there.
It's so lovely. It's so sweet to say. And so, Lou, I also wanted to ask you, I had an unusual dream the other night where you and I were having a conversation. And I remember literally like doing this. Lou, it's me. It was almost like so what was that dream about? It was like you were sort of saying, move on or keep going, whatever. I don't know what that was about, but I was trying to get your attention.
Yeah. She was trying to tell you you're not ready because it had to do with you being there. Or
on the planet or as opposed to off the planet?
You're not going to be like, okay, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Not leaving the planet. Okay, let's put it that way. You're not leaving the planet anytime soon. But she says it was your subconscious, your fear. Like
I see. Okay. I see. Like a projection.
She says it was actually quite entertaining because they were learning.
And I can imagine that being entertaining because I saw her very specifically as a certain age and time and everything else. And I was talking to her and I was trying to get her attention. I was trying to get her to like respond to what I was saying. And I literally grabbed her shoulders and was like, Lou, it's me, and it was just a funny thing. And then when I woke up, I thought, well, it was at my projection. So that's what she's clarifying. That was my projection. All right. So let's go back to James Caan. Lou, I know you and we have a great story. It's hilarious. James, is there anything else how much? I only got a few minutes, right?
Yeah, we only have a couple. We have 4 more minutes.
Okay, James, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. James, is there anything else you want to pass along to your family or your friends or to Francis? Because you did a couple of movies with Francis.
Yeah. Tell them I'm still working. And on the next chapter, the next life that we'll all be a part of. I'm like with a shitty plan. He goes, no, I'm going to take us back, back, like almost back in time before that happened. Like I'm getting like the, Peaky Blinders, that era.
Oh, interesting. Maybe that kind of storyline. Any message for our mutual friend, Fred Roos? That's a friend of Luana's and a friend of James, who's on.
Tom, if he doesn't quit doing what he's doing, working wise, stress wise, or something with Fred's,
yeah, he's producing movies.
Yeah, he says he's going to end up like me. He needs to figure that out.
All right, tell him to relax a little bit more. Meditate. Is that something you want him to do, James?
He's like, good luck with that.
No, it's very true.
He just showed me 3 people trying to lasso his brain to stop because it's so all over the place. I don't know who he is. I didn't know he was.
No, you don't. And so, well, let's ask James. James, Luana, we have all you guys, pals together. Luana wrote a screenplay about the old days, and Jennifer and I have talked about that in the past. And Lou, is there any advice you want me to give me about that? Because Fred and I talked.
It just has to get in the right hands, she said.
Okay, guess it. And can you help Fred do that?
If he settles down, yes.
Okay, very good. Because of course, very hard for me to get anything into anybody's hands these days. But also, and your friend Robert Town has asked me to say hello and sends his love.
Oh, they love him. Hira's still manning his, it's so cute.
His post, manning his post. That's funny. And of course, for those tuning in for the last time, Hira is Robert Town's dog on the flip side, who's had a number of conversations with us to tell us that he's there.
It's made him believe in the afterlife. He goes, why would I talk to people when I have Hira?
That's exactly right. Okay.
There's something that just came through, though, real fast, and I can't quite make it out.
A male or female?
No. It'll come to me later. It just was one of those things that's
zip by. Lou, anything else you want to pass along to your fans over here who enjoy our class and write to me?
Love. And if you know, oh yeah, it was his birthday. Not too
Robin. So Robin Williams, yes. Robin, we'll give you the last word.
What do you have to do to get in the front?
Who do you got to get in the front? Well, yeah. Robin, you get the last word. Go ahead.
James Caan just went like that and walked away.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it. You're always welcome.
Oh, that's what it was. If you know how loving and kind the other side is, then speak to them. Open up your mind. Open up your heart. Know that there's nothing that you could have done wrong to keep them away. And even if you feel like you did, that's going to keep you away from them.
Wow. That's very good.
That's why James came through today. That's why he wanted to make sure that we knew how spectacular it is for them to be on the other side. So why don't we show the love here, like the love they feel over there? And you can, by opening that up, you open up that.
Yeah. Beautifully said, James. Thank you. We're going to give you the last word. And love to you, Robin. Happy birthday. We're sorry we missed your birthday. Jennifer's going to be out of town next week. And we're going to be back in weeks. But you can watch this video and listen to it more than once to get all the nuggets that are inside of this one, because it's chock full of fun stuff. Anyway, we love you, Jennifer. Thank you for your gift and being available to do this. And we've been doing it for 7 years, and it's hilarious that we still.
I love it. And I do want some people to know that if you have appointments in September, I opened up a couple days in August because I figured out when my kids were going to school, just to let people know that.
Okay, very good. And you can find Jennifer at jennifershaffer.com. You can find us at martinizone.com and hackingtheafterlife.com for the podcast. We love you madly. Thank you so much. Love.
Love that.
This has been Hacking the Afterlife podcast with Jennifer Schaefer. For more information,